Philippines-Canada Maritime Dialogue on 19 January 2026 and the 4th Philippines-United States Bilateral Maritime Dialogue on 17 February 2026. Both dialogues covered a broad range of topics, including regional maritime developments, defense and security cooperation, maritime law enforcement, the blue economy, marine conservation, and the upcoming 10th anniversary of the 2016 South China Sea Arbitral Award. The inaugural Philippines-Canada Maritime Dialogue reflects the strong momentum of bilateral engagement between the two countries on maritime domain awareness, ocean governance, and the promotion of international law and multilateralism. Notably, the Philippines is the first country with which Canada has established a dedicated thematic dialogue focused specifically on maritime issues. The 4th Philippines-U.S. Bilateral Maritime Dialogue built on the outcomes of prior exchanges and sustained the positive momentum of the two countries' deep and wide-ranging collaboration on maritime security, marine environmental protection, and the blue economy. The media and the public are encouraged to refer to the joint press statement issued following that dialogue. These engagements are central to one of the core dynamics of Philippine maritime statecraft, actively leveraging alliances and partnerships to uphold a rules-based maritime order grounded in international law. The Philippines now maintains a total of 11 maritime dialogues, which collectively reinforce the goal of building the capacities and capabilities of the country's defense and security agencies. In this regard, the DFA plays an essential role by identifying alignments between domestic requirements and partners' areas of strength and expertise. The core dynamics of Philippine maritime statecraft do not operate in isolation. They are mutually reinforcing and pursued simultaneously. Accordingly, even as the DFA deepens alliances and partnerships with like-minded countries, it also maintains open lines of communication with the Chinese side in pursuit of candid, constructive dialogue and practical cooperation. In this context, the DFA welcomes the Senate's openness to holding a dialogue with the Chinese Embassy in Manila, viewing such an interaction as an opportunity for frank, cordial, and professional discussion, one that can candidly address divergent positions while also identifying areas of common understanding. The DFA likewise welcomes the diversity of opinion inherent in our democratic tradition. At the same time, it encourages that official statements on foreign policy matters be considered in their full and proper context, particularly on issues that directly bear on national interests. The DFA calls for constructive engagement that advances the country's shared defense of its position in the West Philippine Sea, consistent with President Marcos' independent foreign policy and in accordance with international law. Finally, the DFA reiterates that the Philippines' sovereignty over its archipelago and other territories, including Bajo de Masinloc, the high tide features of the Kalayaan Island Group, and other relevant areas, as well as its jurisdiction over maritime entitlements under UNCLOS, as clarified by the 2016 Arbitral Award, are incontrovertible. These rights are firmly grounded in international law. established legal principles, effective control, and recognition through international treaties and agreements. The DFA further notes that the National Mapping and Resource Information Authority, or NAMRIA, has issued an administrative map that clearly delineates the territories over which the Philippines exercises sovereignty, including the Kalayaan Island Group, Bajo de Masinloc, and other relevant areas. Together with all relevant national agencies, the DFA reaffirms its unwavering commitment to protecting the Philippines' sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction, and will continue to champion the country's maritime rights and interests through effective and principled diplomacy.
Thank you very much, spokesperson Villanueva. It's now time for questions. Yes?
Sir, good afternoon. Joseph Monaco from GMA7. I just have two questions for you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sawi. Nice to meet you. Sir, dun muna po sa you welcome the Senate's desire to talk to the Chinese Embassy. How are you going to effect this? Paano po yung magiging mechanics ito? Are we already thinking of a timetable and who's going to be the participants? And the second question, sir, will be later after that.
The DFA welcomes, as I mentioned in the statement, we welcome the openness of the Senate as conveyed by Senator Panfilo Lacson to hold a dialogue with the Chinese Embassy in Manila. And it is our belief that the Senate is already making direct representations with the Embassy of Manila to find a mutually convenient date for that dialogue. So the DFA supports that openness expressed by the Senate to hold this meeting with the Chinese Embassy.
Wala po tayong extend na tulong in terms of maybe protocol?
If the Senate reaches out to the DFA, definitely we are prepared to extend the necessary assistance.
Sir, regarding the map that the NAMRIA issued, should it erase all questions about our sovereignty and territory?
I think the main purpose of the map was to remove the confusion regarding the West Philippine Sea. That's the first and foremost objective of NAMRIA's release of the map. But the map itself is not something new. As mentioned by NAMRIA in its statement, it has been issued way back in 2012. It is an administrative map which is an important tool for government planning and resource management. So it's an administrative map which graphically illustrates the different administrative subdivisions of the Philippines.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Mikael Flores of Reuters. Sir, in the joint statement following the bilateral strategic dialogue of the U.S. and the Philippines, there was a mention that part of the Treaty Allies' commitment this year is to continue and work to increase deployments of U.S. cutting-edge missile and unmanned systems to the Philippines. So, can we get details on that? Like, what sort of expansion or increase in deployment are you looking at? Are you looking at, more missile systems here or longer range? Just a flavor of that commitment also. Yeah.
I believe the spokesperson of the armed forces has already issued a statement. But generally speaking, this is part of the country's sovereign act to enhance its defense capability and operational readiness, whether it is for protection of our sovereignty, territorial integrity, or our maritime domain. So as to the details on the type of and specifications of these armaments, we leave it up to the Department of National Defense.
I understand, sir. And also related to that, there was also a mention that you're envisioning a 2+2 ministerial level dialogue this year to be hosted by the U.S. So is there any indication as to when that will happen?
That was mentioned, but this is part of the action points, and I can get back to you as soon as I get the information from our Office of American Affairs. Thank you, sir.
Sir, to return to NAMRIA and the map, to clarify, this is a 2012 map, hindi siya bago. Sir, may update na po ba tayo on the integration of the arbitral award, I believe, and I think there was a discussion before na kailangan i-integrate na rin yung Maritime Zones Act, also the archipelagic sea lanes. Like, where are we in finally releasing a map that reflects those?
The map that you're referring to is not, as mentioned already by our scholars, it's not required that we submit the map to the United Nations. This is an administrative requirement, but the purpose is to inform the different states, and we will do this in the appropriate time.
Just clarifying, sir, kasi if I'm not mistaken, the not 1 inch microsite actually includes...
If I may add, the submission of the map, actually, sorry to add again, the submission, the rights of the Philippines as to its sovereignty and sovereign rights and maritime entitlements is not dependent on the submission of these maps to the United Nations because it is grounded in international law, particularly UNCLOS, and as clarified by the 2016 Arbitral Award.
Pero kahit for local circulation, sir, just to formally integrate that win, is that something that we urgently seek or hindi naman siya priority for now?
We are in coordination with NAMRIA, and we will get back to you with that information.
Sir, just to move southern, phone-in question to actually, sir, how does the new map, well, the map released by NAMRIA, deal with the Philippine southern border to include Sabah? How about the waters between Sabah and the southern islands, Sulu and Tawi-Tawi? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. As I mentioned a while ago, the map recently released by NAMRIA is not something new. It has been in effect in the different administrative maps and charts issued by NAMRIA. It is an administrative map which does not deal with maritime zones. So it is a map which provides a graphical representation of the different administrative jurisdictions of the Philippines. Now, as to the question on northern Borneo, the administrative map issued by NAMRIA provides a geographical approximation of North Borneo in relation to the main Philippine archipelago. It does mean that the Philippines, with the enactment of the Philippine Maritime Zones Act of 2024, RA 12064, has not repealed Section 2 of Republic Act 5446, which defines the baselines of the territorial zones of the Philippine archipelago and is without prejudice to the Philippines' existing and valid claims on the portion of North Borneo.
Okay, do you have any more questions? Sir, do we have time?
Yes.
One more.
One more question.
Sir, when is the next
This is the
COC
next
negotiation? When will be the next COC negotiations with China? And what were the milestones that were resolved in the past, in the January meeting, sir?
Thank you. Oh, thank you for that question. As chair of the ASEAN, the Philippines has committed to pursue the momentum in the negotiations for the substantive and effective code of conduct. And we are prepared to facilitate more meetings. Actually, we are holding, in coordination with the other ASEAN member states and China, monthly face-to-face meetings to increase the opportunity to sit down and negotiate and hopefully endeavor to conclude the COC by 2026. It's happening, I think, next month. Next month, yes. We are February next month. I'm not sure. I think there's one. Yes, in the last week of February, there's one taking place. In Singapore, I believe. Yes. As to the details, I am not privy to release that information. But just to say that the ASEAN member states and China are really committed to push the negotiations forward.
Sir, hi sir. Sir, last Wednesday, si former Senator Tolentino has called on the DFA na if they can summon the officials of the Chinese embassy for statements made against our lawmakers. Do you think that's necessary, or have you done anything on this subject?
We respect the opinion of Senator Tolentino, but as we have already mentioned in our previous statements, the DFA has already made firm representations with serious concern to the Chinese embassy in Manila, and we have urged them to engage in discourse in a calm and professional manner.
So no need na sir to summon, no?
At this point in time, I'm not able to provide that information, but this is also all part of the various diplomatic actions available to the DFA.
Thank you so much, everyone. One second. Sir, I don't know if you'll be able to answer
This question, but this morning in a forum, Commodore J. Tariela accused the DFA of becoming a troll because you've been frequently issuing statements on the West Philippine Sea issue. So may we know your comment on that? And second question, do we already have an update on the BCM between the Philippines and China? Because I understand it was supposed to be held last year, but it was postponed. Is there already a schedule?
As to your first question, all I can say is it's unfortunate, and I do not want to glorify the statement anymore. But personally, I can say that we have the highest regards for our men in uniform and other fellow public servants. And I think that it's not also too much to expect the same.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And that's our president.
So it's a BCM, it's still subject for negotiation with China. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you, everyone.